Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, Dominicans invited to participate in building a resilient nation as they gathered on Sunday for a national Thanksgiving concert. Copyright activists to lobby for Dominican artists to benefit from digital copyright, and the House of Nyabinghi request an amnesty for anyone caught with small quantities of cannabis. The details of the news coming up.
Get ready to open the best gifts with Flow this Christmas. Sign up for a new broadband or TV service with free installation, or sign up for a broadband and TV bundle and get 40% off broadband for the first 2 months. Plus, get a chance to win a 55-inch smart TV, 1 year or 6 months of free service. Enjoy big-time entertainment and big speeds this Christmas with Flow. Terms and conditions apply. Visit discoverflow.co for more.
Si ou ni maladie HIV et bien maladie sexuelle, si ou pas protéger corps là ou ka ni sexe avec plusieurs monde, ça kay mette la vie ou en gros danger. Ou ka expose tout partenaire au poison et que tant ki ka vini avec maladie. Servi yo condom chaque fois ou ka ni sexe. Changer qui est important pour découvrir maladie à bonheur ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Pour responsabilité, protéger corps et puis les autres. Examiner corps. Aider du bout si même maladie HIV et l'autre maladie sexuelle.
The Bureau of Gender Affairs is reporting no official increase in the number of gender-based violence reports this year.
The Bureau has joined the international community in observing the 16 Days of Activism campaign, which runs from 25th November to 10th December under the theme End Gender-Based Violence. Acting Director of the Bureau of Gender Affairs, Melissa Morgan, says this year's observation of the campaign to end gender-based violence is even more significant as normally, following a disaster, conditions lend themselves to increased incidents of gender-based violence.
Research has shown that disasters tend to increase pre-existing vulnerabilities. So example, sexual discrimination, abuse, gender-based violence. And for that reason, we're going to the communities to kind of get them to understand what gender-based violence is and to get them to report. So yes, I would say that it's different this year, especially as countries tend to be more vulnerable to this sort of abuse post-disaster. The statistics do not show an increase in reports. What I can say is that the risk factors for an increase in gender-based violence are there. For example, loss of livelihoods of the head of household, increase in drug and alcohol abuse, change of dynamics in the home, all of these which can cause or lead to an increase in gender-based violence. But as of now, I cannot say yet if it has increased. The statistics do not show that.
Morgan says the Bureau is working on creating more awareness of its reporting mechanisms so that individuals feel more comfortable reporting incidents of gender-based violence.
Well, the Central Registry on Gender-Based Violence, which was established in July 2011, and we have 5 different organizations that feeds into this registry. What we need to do is more advocacy to let people feel more comfortable in reporting. One of the reasons why reporting is so low is because of one, victim blaming. People don't feel comfortable in reporting. They're sometimes blamed, called names for just being a survivor of abuse. And we want to speak against that, increase our advocacy and awareness, strengthen our response mechanisms or response system for survivors so that people feel more comfortable in coming forward and report.
The most recent statistics from the Central Registry on Gender-Based Violence showed 1,200 reported cases of gender-based violence from July 2011 to June 2017. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
The House of Nyabinghi wants an end to what they say is the persecution of those caught with small quantities of cannabis.
The suggestion came from representative of the House of Nyabinghi, Benard Imani Shaw. His call comes against the backdrop of the first ever national consultation on the decriminalization of cannabis for medical purposes held earlier this month. Shaw is of the view that since the country has opened up the discussion for legalizing cannabis for medical purposes, then those caught with small amounts of the herb should not be punished.
It is just shameful and regrettable that even as the world is now looking at the herbs in that light, that we still see people suffering fines and imprisonment and, you know, for the use of the herbs. We still hear magistrates saying, oh, well, it is not illegal yet, it's not legal yet, so we cannot, so we're still punishing you. And I feel Dominica needs to take a stand about that they need to stop punishing the people and stop fining and jailing people for use of herbs. Have some kind of amnesty, put some kind of halt while that so-called consultation and reviewing is going on, you know, that people should stop suffering that.
Shaw says the national consultation is a step in the right direction, as the Rastafarian community in Dominica has been of the view that there is nothing wrong with the proper use of cannabis.
So now that the world is beginning to come to the realization that this plant is something of value and that they are now seeming to understand what we have been saying all these times about the herbs, that we just feel vindicated and feel revenge and feel that we are here now to witness this very interesting scenario where people are now beginning to look at the herbs, which we never thought would happen in our lifetime, because the herbs have always been taboo. The herbs have always been a subject which led to criminality.
The House of Nyabinghi representative believes that caution should be taken in moving towards legalizing cannabis for medical purposes, especially as the country will be entering the arena with international players.
We still fear that the plant could become something, not the plant, but the use of it, and what, not only use of it, but what they make out of it. Because we see the same things happen to things like cigarettes and to things like even the coca leaf, which is made cocaine today. We see how people corrupted it. The multinationals at it, the pharmaceuticals at it, and they are the ones who are going to send down these products to us now. You know? And we fear that it's going to become so contaminated that it will no longer be of the value that it should be.
A call for unity among Dominicans as we begin to approach the end of 2018. Prime Minister Skerrit made the call during a Thanksgiving concert at Windsor Park Stadium on Sunday. The event featured Nigerian gospel music singer, songwriter and senior worship leader, Sinach. Mr. Skerrit appealed to the crowds to remain aware of that which holds us together at heart and to focus on what we have in common. He believes this will bring the nation closer to realizing his vision where all Dominicans can prosper together.
Let us give God the glory, for He has done great things for us here in Dominica. Moving forward, let us emulate Him and do great things for each other. Our unique, God-given strengths as a nation ensured that we were well equipped to endure Hurricane Maria late last year and make 2018 a year of consolidation for Dominica. Together, we must end the year on a high and begin 2019 on the right foot as we stride forward. Just as those who sought to divide us in the past have failed, those who try to divide us in the future will fail. Because, my sisters and brothers, we shall remain united in our determination to maintain our values and our Dominican way of life.
The Prime Minister said this is a time to rebuild and rejoice in the new hope that God has planted in our hearts.
The book of Ecclesiastes informs us that there is a time for everything under the heaven. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. And a time to mourn and a time to dance. Now is the time for all of us to gather in one place to worship Him, reflect on our lives, commit to being the best version of ourselves, and rejoice in God's goodness and love for all of us.
Mr. Skerrit said all hands should be on deck in rebuilding a resilient Dominica.
Today, I send out an appeal to anyone who has a differing view to set it aside and join all of us who are on the deck to build a resilient Dominica. Join us with the understanding that the right thing to do is to act virtuously rather than just talk about doing so. Avoid doing good things with an ulterior motive, because good deeds must come from the heart and for the glory of God. We must be reminded of this as we seek to achieve our goals on the journey to our 50th independence anniversary.
Meantime, Sunday's Thanksgiving Gospel Concert presented an opportunity for Dominicans to not only offer prayers for themselves and their families, but for the nation. As the crowds gathered, the Minister for Ecclesiastical Affairs reminded them of why they had come together to pray and to give thanks. She said Dominica had been through a lot, but God's mercy had endured.
As a government, we continue to acknowledge God's goodness, provision, and mercies to our nation, more so after Hurricane Maria. And we believe that it is fitting that we demonstrate our gratitude through this national Thanksgiving as we come to the end of the year. We can say without a doubt that 2018 was a year filled with mercy, grace, and favor for our country, our people, and it's important that we give thanks. Dominicans, we have so much reason to give praise and thanks to God. In 2015, Tropical Storm Erica dealt Dominica a hard blow, and we thought nothing further would happen to us because we had already gotten our fair share. Then came Hurricane Maria in 2018, the most destructive hurricane that even our early centenarian had ever seen. It ravaged the entire country. Every household, every person was affected in one way or the other. However, in all of this, the good Lord was merciful.
The nation's leaders were among those who were lifted up in prayer during the concert. The instrument used there is called a shofar in Hebrew. It's an ancient musical horn typically made from ram's horn used for Jewish religious purposes. You're watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after the break.
Imagine you at your command. Introducing Flow Evil. Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
A copyright activist will be lobbying for Dominica to sign on to the relevant treaties which will allow for its artists to benefit from digital copyright. Former chairman of the Eastern Caribbean Collective Organization for Music Rights, ECHO, McCarthy Marie, recently returned from a workshop in Barbados on the licensing of music and text works in the digital era.
The question of managing rights in the digital world, as you know, for music, the biggest form of consumption of music now is neither downloads nor sale of CDs nor anything. It's streaming. And streaming services like Spotify, which is not available here, but I think Deezer is, generate tons of data in the trillions. So the copyright societies are inundated with information which they have to process. And in order to process that effectively and give licenses to everybody who needs a license and pay everybody who needs to be paid, the copyright societies in the world are forming clusters.
Marie explained that currently Dominican artists cannot benefit from digital copyright in the international arena, but that's not the case here in the country.
Well, here's the situation. Legally, our laws are in place, okay? But there are two treaties having to do with the use of works on the internet, which Dominica is not a member of. That is the WIPO Copyright Treaty, WCT, and the WIPO Phonograms and Performances Treaty, WPPT. So we need to sign on to those two treaties so that Dominicans produced works will be fully protected on the internet all over the world. Well, legally, if he went to court, he probably would lose, depending which court he went to. But if he went to if this thing was streamed and available in Dominica, of course he would win in the Dominica court, but he wouldn't win in, well, Guadeloupe, for example.
Mr. Marie says his subsequent course of action will be a visit to the Intellectual Properties Office to advocate for Dominica to sign on to the relevant treaties so that Dominican artists can benefit from digital copyright on the international scale. And for Roman Catholics, the liturgical year ends on the Feast of Christ the King, celebrated here on Sunday. During the liturgical year, Catholics are expected to relive the life of Christ and to try to immerse themselves in the kingdom he came to establish. At the end of the liturgical year, Catholics examine themselves to see whether Christ is more king in their lives now than a year ago. For many Catholics who commemorate the feast, it is just another mysterious celebration which they go through every year at this time. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, the Feast of Christ the King is also called the Solemnity of our Lord Jesus Christ, King of the Universe. The festival is celebrated in honor of Jesus Christ as Lord over all creation. It was established by Pope Pius XI in 1925. It was originally celebrated on the last Sunday in October, but in the revised liturgical calendar, it was moved to the last Sunday in ordinary time immediately preceding Advent. In one sports item here, a dream come true for the LA Stars football team of La Plaine. The sports team has secured sponsorship to the tune of $16,000. Their sponsor, Parliamentary Representative Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, said he would provide additional support through transportation and refreshments whenever they play outside of La Plaine. Peter Saint-Jean handed over the football gear to LA Stars President Roderick Blaise and other team members during a ceremony at the weekend.
It is my pleasure at this moment to hand over, Mr. President, to you. I think significantly, as President, the most important thing is not the ball. For me, I think the most important thing to give to the President to ensure that they achieve success is a pair of football boots. So my wife will hand over to you the pair of football boots. They can't play without the shoes on. And it's very, very important that they keep the shoes on during the period of play to ensure success. And of course we have Biko Williams. Biko is the sports officer for the junior sports officer for the area. A very hard-working young man in the field of sports, very involved. And it is, of course, again, my distinct pleasure to have my wife hand over to Biko this ball that signifies 4 or more goals every game. The shoes must be kept on at all times. The ball signifies the goals that they're going to score, but it is important for them to be well cladded, and so we again hand over to you your outfit that will tell the world who you are. And so tonight, although you do not have Flow TV in La Plaine, the rest of Dominica will see what is taking place here on Flow TV. So big up to Delvin and big up to Flow TV for taking what is happening here in La Plaine all the way and on YouTube to the ends of the earth.
On behalf of LA Stars, I would like to thank Peter Saint-Jean, the council, and everyone that was part of this sponsorship. As a young boy, you might want a bicycle, a toy, and when you get it from your parents, you say, wow, Christmas come. But to get all that to play football, I mean, what you want to get? All you need to do now is go on the field and perform. And I must be very thankful for everything we received tonight. And that's an incentive towards my team so that we can go out and perform tomorrow. We have been training real hard the whole week. For the past weeks, we have been really going out and show our performance. And winning Carberry's win our first game 6-0. So tomorrow, let us show that we can prove to La Plaine and to LA Stars and to the La Plaine people that we can really perform in football.
Stay connected and share your favorite holiday moments with Flow. Get the Alcatel A1 for $199 when you activate an extra-large prepaid combo plan, or the Samsung J4 for just $399 with a large postpaid plan, and get free talk evenings and weekends. Plus, get free WhatsApp on large and extra-large prepaid combo plans and sign up for any new service for a chance to win cash or hampers every week. So make it Flow for everything mobile this Christmas. Terms and conditions apply. Visit discoverflow.co for more.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001-275-5003 today.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. Dominicans invited to participate in building a resilient nation as they gathered on Sunday for a national Thanksgiving concert. Copyright activists to lobby for Dominican artists to benefit from digital copyright, and the House of Nyabinghi requests an amnesty for anyone caught with small quantities of cannabis. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You may access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.